So we all spend money in almost every single way possible. Cameras is one of the things that we spend money on, but one thing that you need to realize when you purchase your first camera is that this is actually a trap. You're going to be spending more and more money onto this. So for example, if you get a beginner DSLR camera like a T7 or something, it's $400. You're like, hey, it's $400. I can buy this camera. I can get really good photos. I can use those manual DSLR skills and I can learn. I can grow as a photographer. Yes, all those things are possible, but how much money are you actually going to put into it? That is dependent on you and how much you want to spend. But for me, at least, the way I started back in 2013, I kept buying on gear, I kept spending money, so it just became like a huge trap where I was spending and spending. In the beginning, it's gonna be pretty straightforward. You're gonna be like, hey, I just need a bag for my camera, I need a filter, I need some cards, I need this and that. But that just becomes like 100 to 150 bucks that you spend more on it. Cool, done? No, the thirst trap basically increases and increases as you buy new gear. And then once you start stepping into, more and more YouTube, you see all these people, like even myself, you see me using like all this fancy gear and you're like, hey, I need that. And you basically get trapped into this hole of where you have to spend more and more money to become a better photographer. And even when you're not spending more money, you're feeling bad about it because you want all this gear and you know it's not healthy. And you just really want that better camera lens, or you want that better body or whatever it is. Camera gear is not cheap, so it's gonna take away some of your happiness away because you're spending so much money. If you don't spend, that's not great. If you do spend, you're basically kind of wasting your money. So let's talk about how you can actually build your camera gear and not only get a reimbursement out of your camera gear, but you can actually make a profit out of this investment. So first thing I want to say is that for sure you have to think about what you're going to do with this camera before you even buy this camera. So a lot of times we buy a camera just for our trips or our regular day events. So most of the times what happens is people buy all this camera gear and they don't know what to do with it. It has no value coming back to them. They're not getting paid back. They're not making anything with it. It's just sitting in the back of their house, $500 that they could have invested in stocks or something. Now it's just of a camera sitting in the back in the garage or in your closet somewhere and it's not being used. So what do you do exactly and how do you make that value back? And the fact that you can go and make more profit off of this one camera. So first of all, you have to think about what are you going to do with this camera? Are you going to create Instagram content, TikTok, or whatever it is? Are you going to create some content that's going to either make you famous, leading for more money in the future, or is it going to actually teach you some skills which will eventually make you a professional photographer? Then you can make some money. Or you have to think about all those things before you actually buy this camera. Why actually are you buying it? Because at the time being, if you're just, as I said in my T7 video, a lot of people didn't like that comment where I said iPhones can probably do a better job than the T7 on auto mode. Now let that sink in for a moment, because iPhones are amazing at photos, and not only they're a camera, they're actually a phone. They're something that you use every single day, and getting a better speed, you're saving a lot of time on a daily, so all those things matter. But at the end of the day, you're like saving that money and you can use that on different things because you're going to buy a phone regardless. So you can spend that money on something more useful like stocks, or just have it in your savings instead of on a camera that's going to basically, the value is going to go down over years and it's going to sit in your closet for all this time and you're never actually going to use it. So how do you get to that level where you get paid back? First of all, I would say watch inspirational YouTubers. Now, this is probably the reason you wanted to get a camera in the first place. So I would say explore more and learn more about photography and, learn more what you want to do. So if you want to start vlogging, start vlogging. YouTube, obviously, you can start like I'm trying right now. You can grow and you can create a channel which basically, pays you back over time. But my source of income definitely has been photography, event photography over times, and videography. So definitely for me, making videos at events like weddings, that's been like the way that I've made most money. The first way you can actually get into it is by wasting a lot of money like I did. I would spend, I think I used to work as a security guard at the time. I was still in college. So I'd spend all that money that I would make on the weekends, almost everything on tech or my gear, basically for photos and videos, and I wasn't even that good. So that's another thing about being a professional, is that once you are a professional, you start making money, but you also learn a lot of new skills. So that's kind of the way that I developed into this whole journey of photography, and ultimately just making me money back. And not only for my camera gear, but making much more money than I have invested into photography. But yeah, so that's my go-to way. But obviously if you're going with YouTube or anything like that, you can make some money, and you can reimburse your camera and everything else. But for the time being, I would say learn and have a motive first before you actually go in and start spending money and just becoming more and more sucked into the trap of camera gear expenses. Because trust me, it's a world that never ends. There's always going to be new gear, there's always going to be better gear. Even for me, I am a pro. I've spent about $10,000 to $20,000 just on my camera gear, and they're still better. So it never ends. The loophole just continues over time. So just be motivated towards what you want to make, and to get at least past your $500 or $1,000, you gotta learn, you gotta get better, you gotta sell and promote your business, and make sure that you make them money back instead of just spending instead of having basically no return on investment. You want a return on investment, especially cameras nowadays can be very, very powerful. So use that and make money back. That's all. And just don't keep on spending money. Start making some money back. But that comes with knowledge, that comes with a business plan, that comes with all those things. So make sure you have them at your disposal whenever you're working on something like this. But other than that, I think it all comes from inside. And if you don't have that will to go after it, and just think of it like this: in the next 2 or 3 years, are you actually going to be using that camera like the way you want it to be? Does it match your personality? If not, save that money, invest in something else. Don't go in that loophole where you're buying and buying and buying, and the consumer goods just keep on getting worse and worse, like actually better and better. But for you, it's worse and worse because you're spending so much money on it, and it's just not a good thing to do. But that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions on how to develop your business, or how to become a photographer in the beginning, or just start off, leave a comment down below, ask me, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. And that will be it for today. If you guys have not subscribed yet to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. If you like this video, please make sure to like and share. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.